Welcome to Royal Secrets. In a dazzling spectacle of royalty, tradition, and deep-rooted Danish heritage, Queen Mary of Denmark has stunned the world by wearing one of the nation's most sacred and storied jewels, the legendary Danish Emerald Parure Tiara. But this moment wasn't just about fashion, elegance, or royal duty, it was about making history. And history, especially royal history, is rarely just about what you see on the surface. Cut to slow zoom in on Queen Mary stepping out in the tiara, flashbulbs popping, cameras rolling. Chapter 1. The night Queen Mary sparkled in green fire. For decades, the Danish Emerald Parure Tiara was a silent guardian of centuries-old royal secrets, locked away, resting in velvet and shadow, only emerging for Denmark's grandest events. But now, it has a new mistress. Queen Mary, consort to King Frederik X and now the undisputed queen of modern elegance and ancient symbolism, has taken on the legacy of the emeralds. The moment she stepped into the gala at Christiansborg Palace wearing the stunning green tiara, murmurs turned into gasps. Royal watchers knew, this was no ordinary jewel. The tiara, an intricate masterpiece of green fire and gold filigree, was paired with the full parure, a necklace, earrings, and brooches that date back over 200 years. Her dress, a sleek, emerald-toned velvet gown that shimmered under the chandeliers, echoing the tiara's dazzling color. But the moment went beyond glamour, it carried a message. This was a statement of power, history, and Denmark's royal continuity. To understand why this moment matters so deeply, we need to rewind, not just decades, but centuries. The Danish Emerald Parure Tiara traces its roots to the early 1800s, during the turbulent Napoleonic era, when royal marriages were political chess moves. The original emeralds are believed to have belonged to Princess Charlotte of Denmark, who married Prince William of Hesse-Kassel in 1810. At a time when emeralds symbolized hope, fertility, and renewal, these stones were gifted to secure alliances and signal wealth. But as the tides of European history shifted, so too did the fate of these jewels. They passed through generations, tucked into dowries, reset by court jewelers, worn in royal portraits, and hidden during wartime. The full parure eventually returned to the Danish crown collections during the reign of Queen Ingrid, consort to King Frederik IX, who cherished their imperial aura and preserved them for Denmark's future queens. Before Queen Mary, there were only a handful of women deemed worthy to wear the Danish Emerald Parure. Queen Louise of Hesse-Kassel, consort to King Christian IX, was known to favor emeralds for their vibrant glow during state portraits. Queen Alexandrine, wife of Christian X, wore the emeralds to assert continuity during the uncertain years of World War I. Queen Ingrid, the Swedish-born queen who became a beloved figure in Denmark, not only preserved the tiara but had it modified to fit changing times. She saw jewels as more than ornaments, they were silent diplomats, speaking volumes in state dinners and royal banquets. But for decades, the tiara remained mostly unseen. Some speculated it had been retired. Others believed it was too regal, too steeped in old-world symbolism, for modern royal wear. Then came Mary Donaldson, a Tasmanian commoner turned crown princess, and now Queen Mary of Denmark. Her journey to the emeralds would be anything but ordinary. It was never supposed to happen. When Mary Donaldson met Prince Frederik at a Sydney pub during the 2000 Olympics, few could have imagined she would one day wear one of the oldest Danish royal tiaras. But what followed was a fairy tale wrapped in iron resolve. After years of royal preparation, scrutiny, and cultural immersion, Mary transformed into Denmark's ideal royal consort. She mastered the language, embraced the culture, and won the hearts of Danes across every generation. Her wardrobe evolved into a diplomatic tool. Her jewelry choices began telling stories. And then, on a glittering evening in 2025, she told the world that she was ready to carry the weight of centuries. Wearing the Emerald Parure was not simply a fashion choice. It was a crown within a crown. A sign that Mary had ascended to the inner sanctum of Danish royal legacy. Why emeralds? Throughout history, emeralds have symbolized far more than luxury. In ancient Rome, they were the stones of Venus, goddess of love. In medieval times, they were thought to protect against evil and promote fertility. And in royal courts across Europe, emeralds were reserved for only the highest-ranking women. For Denmark, the emeralds of the Parure are believed to embody resilience. Passed down through queens who endured wars, exile, and political upheaval, they represent strength in femininity, beauty that endures chaos. By wearing the full parure, Queen Mary was doing more than embracing fashion. She was claiming her place in that unbroken line of women. She was channeling royal endurance. As the world's media focused their cameras on the glittering halls of Christianborg, Queen Mary took her place beside King Frederick. Royal commentators from Paris to Tokyo commented instantly, this was her coronation moment without a crown. The emeralds shimmered like green fire. With every head turn and camera flash, a message was sent not just to Denmark but to all of Europe. The Queen has arrived. Unlike the more familiar ruby parure, often associated with state dinners or diplomatic affairs, the emeralds are a quieter kind of power. They are not about pageantry. They are about permanence, legacy, the long view of history. Queen Mary wearing them wasn't about style, it was about sovereignty. One of the most intriguing mysteries surrounding the emerald tiara is its legal status. Unlike personal jewels, such as wedding gifts or privately purchased diamonds, the Danish Emerald Parure is believed to be part of the royal collection, technically owned by the state, but worn exclusively by the Queen. This adds layers of complexity. The emeralds are not just jewelry, they're cultural heritage. Protected, priceless, and politically symbolic. Each time Queen Mary wears them, she is not only representing herself or the royal family, she is symbolizing the entire Danish nation. The monarchy, the constitution, the continuity of centuries-old Danish identity. No pressure. The reaction was immediate and electric. Danish newspapers published full-page spreads. Jewel historians were interviewed live on air. Fashion critics gushed, while cultural scholars explained the tiara's legacy. Even elder citizens, many of whom remembered Queen Ingrid's appearance in the same parure during the 1960s, were overcome with emotion. In Copenhagen, people gathered outside the palace gates with green flowers, Danish flags, and homemade signs reading, Vores dronning, Vores stolthed, our queen, our pride. Just one appearance, just one glittering moment, was enough to stir the soul of a nation. But beneath the emerald fire, the velvet gowns, and the ceremonial poise lies a hidden world of transformation, reinvention, and royal preservation. In this next chapter, we pull back the curtain on the secrets of the Danish Emerald Parure, Queen Mary's evolving tiara journey, and the moments that almost destroyed this priceless royal treasure forever. At first glance, the Danish Emerald Parure tiara looks untouched by time. Its arching gold framework, gleaming green stones, and graceful filigree suggest a perfectly preserved masterpiece. But that, dear viewers, would be a royal illusion. Over the decades, this tiara has been subtly reshaped, modernized, and even saved from ruin, multiple times. The original emeralds in the tiara came from a necklace gifted to Princess Charlotte in the 19th century. In their earliest form, the emeralds were far less elaborate, fewer in number, roughly cut, and less suited to modern tiara mounts. It wasn't until Queen Ingrid's reign in the mid-20th century that the parure was reconstructed into its current dazzling form. Queen Ingrid, a jewel connoisseur and savvy royal strategist, had the emeralds reset by Danish court jewelers. The tiara was elongated, extra stones were incorporated, matching brooches and earrings were designed. The necklace was shortened for more wearable elegance. The goal, to turn a forgotten antique into a royal showstopper. But not all redesigns were about aesthetics. Some were about protection. What few realize is that Denmark's crown jewels, including the emeralds, faced a silent but deadly threat during World War II. In 1940, when Nazi Germany invaded Denmark, the royal family was placed under strict surveillance. Rumors swirled that the Germans were after national treasures. Precious jewels were quietly removed from palace vaults and hidden. Though details remain closely guarded by the royal household, palace insiders later confirmed that several pieces of the Emerald Parure were smuggled out of Amalienborg Palace, carefully wrapped in linen and hidden inside a chapel walled deep within Frederiksborg Castle. It was Queen Ingrid's personal lady-in-waiting who reportedly orchestrated the move, ensuring the emeralds would not fall into enemy hands. After the war, the pieces were recovered and restored, though a few small emeralds had been damaged by moisture during storage. These were later replaced with Colombian stones from the Royal Reserve Collection. It's a chapter rarely spoken aloud, but one that adds quiet power to Queen Mary's modern debut in the set. These emeralds survived not just time, but tyranny. If there's one thing Queen Mary has mastered in her royal evolution, it's the language of jewels. In royal circles, Tiaras are far more than accessories, they're diplomatic statements. Wearing a specific jewel at a specific time can communicate everything from political solidarity to national pride. Royal watchers have long observed how Queen Mary uses her tiara selections to convey subtle messages. At the Swedish state visit in 2023, she wore the midnight blue sapphire tiara, signaling shared Scandinavian heritage. At her first solo UN summit, she appeared without a tiara, wearing a pearl brooch linked to Queen Margrethe, emphasizing humility and unity. But now, by choosing the Emerald Parure at a landmark Danish gala, she's reaffirmed her role as the symbolic matriarch of Denmark, grounding her authority not just in title, but in history. And here's the kicker. By wearing the emeralds now, early in King Frederick X's reign, she sends a crystal-clear message to monarchists, republicans, and foreign observers alike. This monarchy is enduring. This queen is ready. While the Emerald Parure now holds pride of place, Queen Mary has had access to numerous royal tiaras, each with its own story, symbolism, and controversy. Let's compare. 1. The Danish Ruby Parure Tiara. Perhaps the most iconic of the Danish tiaras, and a favorite of Queen Mary's since her early princess days. Worn famously at Crown Prince Christian's baptism and the couple's 10th anniversary. Originated with Napoleon's court, worn by Desirée Clary, later Queen of Sweden, and passed through generations. Symbolizes passion, diplomacy, and revolution. 2. The Diamond Floral Aigrette. A light, delicate tiara of stylized blooms. Queen Mary wore this during visits to children's hospitals and social causes, an emblem of grace and compassion. 3. The Midnight Sapphire Tiara. A relatively recent addition to the collection, made from a necklace gifted by King Frederick. Modern, sculptural, and bold, often seen as Queen Mary's nod to her Australian heritage and contemporary royal role. But the Emerald Parure, that's a different league. It isn't just royal, it's imperial. It doesn't suggest status, it declares it. One of the most asked questions online after Queen Mary's emerald appearance was, will Princess Isabella wear it next? And the answer, not any time soon. In Danish royal tradition, tiaras, especially those classified as national heirlooms, are reserved for married royal women or queen's consort. While younger royals may wear simpler headpieces or debut with diamond bandeaus, the Emerald Parure is a crown jewel, reserved for official state occasions at the highest level. That means Princess Isabella, though next in line after her brother Crown Prince Christian, would likely have to marry and be acting as consort before donning this tiara, if at all. The heir to the Parure, should it ever be passed, would most likely be a future queen consort, perhaps Christian's future wife. But as long as Queen Mary reigns, these emeralds are hers to wear, and hers to wield. You might be wondering, are there other royal families with emerald parures of similar stature? Let's take a global tour. The British royal family has the Greville Emerald Kokoshnik Tiara, worn by Princess Eugenie on her wedding day. Stunning, but not nearly as historic. The Swedish royal family boasts the Napoleonic Emerald Parure, worn often by Queen Sylvia. It's elegant, but lacks Denmark's wartime intrigue. The Romanovs of Russia once held the Imperial Emerald Tiara, which vanished after the 1917 revolution, possibly smuggled to Paris. The Brazilian imperial family held emeralds of similar grandeur, but much of their collection was auctioned post-monarchy. And yet, of all these, the Danish Emerald Parure remains uniquely intact. Surviving monarchy shifts, foreign invasions, and generational change, it is possibly the oldest continuously worn emerald tiara still in royal use today. That fact alone makes Queen Mary's appearance even more momentous. As much as jewels are loved, they are also controversial. In an era of modern monarchy, public funding, and shifting expectations, royal opulence is often a flashpoint for criticism. Some Danish commentators have raised concerns over the reappearance of such extravagant jewels at a time of growing political polarization and economic pressure. Is this really the image we want in 2025? One editorial asked, but Queen Mary's defenders argue the opposite. These jewels aren't personal bling, they are national artifacts. By wearing them, Queen Mary isn't flaunting wealth, she's honoring Danish history, tradition, and resilience. Still, the debate continues. In a 21st century democracy, what place do 19th century emeralds have? Thanks for watching and please don't forget to subscribe.